The St. Louis chapter of Jack and Jill of America next on City Corner. Hi, I'm Sarah Thompson, and welcome to City Corner. Jack and Jill of America is an 87-year-old leadership organization. Now, it was founded in Philadelphia in 1938 and chartered in St. Louis in 1947. So the chapter is still around. They're still very, very active. And today we're going to learn all about what they do, their mission, their programming, all of that. I'm joined by Angela Roan. She is the president of the St. Louis chapter of Jack and Jill of America. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's great. It's a nice time in the summer to just sit down. I want to kind of, sort of pull back, if you will, the curtain, because I feel growing up or in the community, you hear Jack and Jill all the time. But there's a lot of people who are involved who know exactly what it's about. Mm-hmm. And then there are people who just don't quite know what's going on. And I know you do so much in the community and so much civic participation. Mm-hmm. So I thought we could first start things off where you just explain to the audience, to everyone listening, what is Jack and Jill in the St. Louis chapter, and what is it that you're doing?
So Jack and Jill is a mother's organization. It was started in 1937, as you mentioned. It was started by Marion Stubbs Thomas in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And her goal at that time was to create an organization that would bring mothers together, like-minded mothers together, to create programs and civic opportunities for their African-American children. And so I don't think they knew that 87 years later that it will still be in operation. Mm-hmm. We currently have 271 chapters across the country. Wow. And we boast hosting more than 50,000 families throughout those chapters. And we have 7 regions that are kind of that organizes our chapters. And our chapter, the St. Louis chapter, is in the Midwestern region.
Got it. I know we've got some photos that we're going to show as we talk about it. And we were talking off camera. You've been involved now. You're the president, but you've been involved with Jack and Jill here in St. Louis chapter for how many years?
I've been involved for 14 years.
14 years.
Yes.
And so here we're looking at some images, and this is going to be, you've got another year of your term. Well, I know when I was going through the website and just even doing my own little archival research, which we'll get to in a bit, but it talks about creating self-sufficient and active leaders both in our community and beyond. And then on the national scale, it talked about nurturing future African-American leaders by strengthening children through leadership, development, volunteer service, philanthropic giving, and civic duty. So how does the organization go about that? Because I know you're talking about how the children involved, how much volunteer their service, but how does this when you're involved in it, how does it actually happen?
So our children are between 2 and 19. Okay. So they're organized in our chapters by 6th grade groups, and that would be pre-K through kindergarten, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, which we call our tweens. And then our teens are 9th through 12th grade. So what we like to say in the organization is that programming for our children is our heartbeat. That is what we do. We really want to provide leadership development for them, philanthropic opportunities, and provide civic duty opportunities for them also. How do we do that? So we do that on a monthly basis. Every month, our program committee, which is headed by a program director, our program committee, we plan, actually at the beginning of the year, we get together and have a program planning meeting. And every month there is an activity for each grade group. Okay. And those activities are comprised and developed off of guidelines that we receive from our regional and national office. And we use our Jackie Moore Bowles Leadership Development Manual. And that gives us 16 different modules that we use to train our children on. Some of the things would be public speaking, confidence, conflict resolution. And so we go through every month, and sometimes it's one module, sometimes it may be a composition of 3 or 4 modules, but each activity is used to develop the kids into the leaders that we would like to see them to be in the future. So for instance, let me give you an example. For instance, February is normally Financial Literacy Month for our chapter. And so that month, Every single grade group goes through a financial literacy activity. These activities are planned by our members. We have 68 members, so the moms, we have a responsibility that we have to plan at least one activity for our grade group per year. And so the moms, we can get creative. And so we've done things like we've taken, I remember when my kids were in the 3rd, 4th grade, we took a group of 20 kids to Target. And we got a behind the scenes look at Target with their general manager. They showed them how things work. We had the kids bring in their penny banks. We had them count their money. They bought things to donate to a particular organization, and that particular organization at that time was Covenant House. And so we always try to attach a donation or a community give back to any of our activities. So like I said, each month they are developed, and we do etiquette training. We take the kids to the Capitol, and we do some legislative training, and we meet with legislative officers and things like that. So it's very purposeful what we do. It's intentional, what we are trying to instill in our kids.
Because we always talk about, I think you get to a certain, as a parent, you know, and then also as a professional, you're looking out in the world, and when we talk about leadership skills, and there are people who just have innate qualities that, you know, I've interviewed on this set a lot, entrepreneurs or people who do things where they have it, but a lot of this is learned, is taught, as you're describing, in these step-by-step intentional stages, and if it's not brought to young people, then they're left on their own to have to learn about it. So, I mean, you're really giving young people a stepping stone to help to understand how to prepare them, as we're saying, to be future leaders. And you're also balancing that out, not just on, you were talking about financial literacy, other things, but also I want to kind of dive into some of the community service work that you do. Because I know I was looking on your site, you have community partners. Little Bit Foundation, Almost Home, Loyola Academy of St. Louis, and even the Jack and Jill Foundation. If you want to expand on that too, and sort of the importance of, I think it's so important as a community that we always give back. And not everyone thinks about how to do that with their time, with their talent, you know. So if you could talk a little bit more about some of the community engagement that the young people do, and we'll take a look too again at some of the photos.
Sure. So as president, that is one of the goals that I have set for our chapter during my administration, is that I really do want us to always give back, because I feel like to whom much is given, much is required. And so I've asked that our program committee, when we're planning our activities, what is the give back? What are we doing? Yes, we're learning financial literacy. Yes, we're learning public speaking, but who are we aiding as we are doing that? Because I feel like we can do more. So we can always do more. And so some of our community partners who we've benefited would include, like you said, Little Bit Foundation. We do a lot with Little Bit Foundation. We have been benefiting with them for years, actually. We've done many, many clothing drives, backpack drives, and that sort of thing with Little Bit Foundation. It's an amazing, amazing organization, and we really like them. We also work with Almost Home and the Loyola Academy. And so we've done some tutoring with Loyola Academy. We've done some philanthropic giving, where it has given their boys the opportunity to go on a camp that they had always been wanting to go on. So we were able to raise money so that the boys could go on the camp. So we partner, some of our national organizations that we partner with would be American Red Cross. So we do blood drives. We just had a very, very successful blood drive in June that was hosted at Rung for Women. And then we also partner with March of Dimes. So we do this on a national level and also on a local level. We do the big organizations that you've heard of and some of the smaller ones that you haven't heard of. And that would be, we work with a STEP team, and it's called Men of Mission. And so we work with them. They actually train our kids for a STEP competition. And so in that, we can get leadership development with their kids, and then we can also donate to them for some things that they have to do.
And you were telling me too, when we were talking before we walked on set, that you were saying even with some of the students, 100 hours like in a school year.
Oh my gosh,
of community service.
Yes.
I mean, that's a lot.
It is a lot.
It
is a lot. And some of the students, that's just the minimum. Some of our students, and when we're talking at that level, of course, we're talking about our freshmen to seniors, and our kids go to some of the top schools. They are the top of everything that they do. These kids are amazing. We could do a show on amazing kids, and all these 50 kids could be on there. But so they do 150 hours of community service throughout their time in high school. A lot of that is done through Jack and Jill. Some of it is done through their high school and other organizations that they may be in. So I could speak personally about my own son. My youngest son, his name is Eldridge. This past year, he did more than 150 hours of community service. He likes to volunteer at summer camps and at Vacation Bible School. And then he also does volunteering at school and, of course, through Jack and Jill. He recently served as our corresponding secretary, so that really gives him that leadership development. And through volunteering, he gets out and he's able to use the skills that he learns.
That's really great. And it really does have to start so young, and this idea of just making volunteerism a part of your life. And that's great to hear that. we're going to get into some details of, you've got an event coming up in the new year, your big fundraiser. I also want to talk about your, I believe it's your 5-star, I have it down here, your
I love talking about
5-star chapter of excellence. We've got some details. We're going to take a quick break. Before we go to break, on the screen for you right now is a full page graphic for more information to how to learn more about the St. Louis chapter of Jack and Jill of America here. Head to their website. It's jackandjillstl.org. If you want to reach out with information or with questions, go to info@jackandjillstl.org, and that's the mailing address right there. Save the date. We're going to learn all about what Hearts in Harmony 2 is about. There is clearly a first. We're going to learn about that, but we're going to talk more about that in the second segment. So we're going to take a quick break, but don't go anywhere. We're going to have more with the St. Louis chapter of Jack and Jill when we return. Stay with us.
My advice to all the fathers out there, they grow up way too fast for you to waste even a single precious moment.
My name's Stacy, I'm 57, and I was adopted in 2020. One teen can come in and make you look at life in a whole different way.
You know, he's my father, so I look up to him a lot. If I can be 10% of the man he is, I'll be a happy person for sure.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org.
Did you know that you can watch STL TV on your smart TV? That's right. With the new STL TV Now app, you can watch STL TV at home without a cable subscription. And that includes our live broadcast channel as well as video on demand content. We have apps for Apple TV, Fire TV, and Roku. You probably have at least one of those at home, right? But this one is a Fire TV. Now listen, it is really easy to get started. Just find the App Store on your TV, then search for STL TV Now. Select it and click to install. And in just a few seconds, you are enjoying STL TV's great programming such as City Corner, Inside Sports, City Government, and public interest coverage. Or, my personal favorite, In the Kitchen.
What I love about St. Louis is the 79 unique neighborhoods nestled into 108 city parks, including Forest Park, which is actually larger than Central Park in New York, and of course, the beautiful Tower Grove Park where I'm at now. Oh, the St. Louis Blues. We've got the St. Louis Surge, 2-time WBCBL champions. We've got Harris Stowe, WashU, St. Louis University, and of course, the 11-time World Series champion, St. Louis Cardinals. So come experience St. Louis.
When I was 10, my mom got deported. We had a difficult time, and I feel that's why I didn't get to finish school. My husband is really supportive in a way that he pushed me to go back to school.
She wants to have a career so her kids can look up to her.
they both keep me motivated to go to school, and they see that if I do it, like they can do it too, you know? I feel that everything's possible.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
I'm Sarah Thompson, and welcome back to City Corner. Today we're learning more about the St. Louis chapter of Jack and Jill of America. I'm joined by Angela Roan. She is the president of the St. Louis chapter. Thank you again for being here.
I'm so happy to be here with you.
No, it's really good to kind of delve into this because I had said to you, I think over the decades, over the years in history, people always hear Jack and Jill, but don't quite know what they do, what the organization does, especially on the local level. And I think you're kind of really diving into that a bit more today. I wanted to pull up, I was doing my, this is me and my history major from undergrad, going into the archives, and I want to pull in some of these. I found these old articles from like the St. Louis Argus from 1947 when the St. Louis chapter was chartered. And there were some other clips over the early years. What do you think? And I don't think how much they'll be able to see when we put them up on screen.
Oh,
but
wow.
These are old.
Yes.
And I mean, it's so interesting because this talks about, the charter happening, and we'll go through some of these, but what in your, obviously with your presidency over the past couple of years, but when you think about Jack and Jill Mothers Club, looking at this newspaper clip, from the St. Louis Argus back then to now, how has the organization adapted and changed over the decades, in your opinion? I mean, we don't have to get too into the weeds of each year, but what are your thoughts on that?
So first I want to say kudos on doing your homework. I've never seen these articles before, so that is really cool. But I would say that the organization has done a really good job of evolving, staying with the times, including more families that are more, I would say, non-traditional families, that they do a really good job of fine-tuning the leadership development programs, and now they have really gotten good at providing development for the moms. So not just leadership development for us, because we get, as a leader in the organization, I've been a leader in Jack and Jill for almost 10 years now. I've served as the program director for 4 years. I've served as the vice president for 4 years. And now I'm going into my second year as president. And before that, I served in many chair positions. But for all of these positions, the region provides excellent training for us to know how to do the jobs, free jobs that we're doing. But now we are really coming into an era where the region is paying more attention to mental awareness and physical awareness. So when we go to our conferences now, there's lots of opportunities for us to, when you're with your girlfriends, you like to sit and talk and kind of release. And so we get lots of opportunities for that, but not just to sit and talk as friends, but we're talking with professionals. We're learning things about our minds, and we're learning things about our bodies, what it means to be a mother and some of the struggles and the triumphs of being a mother. So that addition and that change that I've seen because it wasn't like that 10 years ago. It was just about the work. But now it's becoming more about the person, more about the member. And I really appreciate that.
I think it's important. I mean, for something to last, we were talking about 87-year-old organization founded in 1938 at the national level, and here, that's 78 years too. It's like you have to, stay relevant and find a way to keep things. I think it's important. That's really interesting to hear. Talk about, you just slightly alluded to it, but tell me more about the team leadership conference and what age group is that, and where do they go and what happens there?
So annually, each region hosts a team leadership conference. And like I said, we're in the Midwestern region, which I like to say is the best region. I'm
not biased or anything.
I'm totally not biased. But so our region, who is our regional director, is out of Michigan. Her name is Cynthia Myrie Coppes, and she's a wonderful leader. All of our leaders have been great. But each year, the regional director puts on a team leadership conference. And the team leadership conference is held at different universities. For instance, in 2022, it was held here at Washington University. And so, but this year, just in June, we're at Kalamazoo, Michigan at Western Michigan University, and we had a fabulous time. Just imagine being at a university with 650 African-American 9th through 12th graders showing up at plenaries, which for people who don't know what plenaries are, they're the business meetings at conferences. This is a real conference. They're going to plenaries. They are deciding their programming on a regional level. They are deciding who their teen regional leaders will be. They're going to workshops for their own personal development. They're learning about budgeting. They're learning about how do I apply for colleges? And they're also learning about how do I serve as, for instance, corresponding secretary or president of my local teen chapter, because each teen group has their own executive board also. So they really are learning Robert's Rules of Order and how to really run a business meeting. So it's real life skills and professional skills that they can apply in the future. So, but this 5-day conference, they go to, it's a lot of fun. They do have the teen parties, which is what all the kids like to talk about. But there's lots of learning. They show up, they have to dress in business attire, unless they're at the parties. And at the end, the culminating event is a gala, the senior gala, where you see all of the seniors in your region come and take their bow and graduate out of Jack and Jill. This year we had 141 teens. We actually had more that graduated out, but 141 teens at the conference to come and graduate out. It was amazing. It's a beautiful, beautiful event.
That sounds great. And as we look at, I mean, and we're going to throw back some of those images, I think a lot of the stuff that we do have are young people, but you've obviously been involved with the organization for a long time. What would you say are all that we're talking about clearly leads to outcome, right?
Yes.
So what is sort of the outcome? When you look at sort of alumni or people, I don't know if alumni would be the right term for it, but like graduates that once they get out of school and they've aged out of Jack and Jill from the student child level, where are they in life? I mean,
oh my God. So we have some amazing kids, just from those that are just recent alumni in the last year or two. We actually have a young woman, she attends Spelman College. I love to talk about her because when she went, she found it strange that the kids did not have the skills that she has. She said, these people don't know how to run a meeting. They don't know anything about Robert's Rules. And so our kids are so intuitive. They just think that this is how it is, and they don't realize that they are getting a treasure of information and learning. But some of our kids, for instance, locally, Steve Roberts, I believe he's a state representative. He's from Jack and Jill. He's from Jack and Jill. We have a young woman, her name is, what is her name? Cameron Taylor, and she now lives in Atlanta, and she runs her own social media business where she creates social media platforms for small businesses, and she's doing very, very well. So I can go, the list goes on and on. Our kids are doing phenomenal things, and we love to hear about them and to speak. The organization has just created a new auxiliary called Alumni Connections to of get all these kids together. Well, they're not, most of them aren't kids anymore. These adults together to learn, what are you doing? Let us know what you're doing and keep that connection.
Do you find that, I feel this is again me just reflecting, listening to you, that we define success in differently at different stages of our life. And so it's interesting, how would you say that the young people have kind of matriculated through Jack and Jill and just even coming back to as a parent perhaps to be to have your children, what do you see as that sort of like key sort of definition of success that gets sort of that is sort of believed in, if you will, in the organization? Like, what does that mean?
I would think that a key component of success is being able to self-advocate, being able to take what you learned in Jack and Jill as well as your formal education and to make something out of it. A lot of times, when we go to school, we think, oh, I got this degree and this is what I'm going to do. But a lot of us don't do what we went to school for. Right. But being able to use the skills, the soft skills, the people skills, the leadership skills that we're providing and what you're learning in school, learning about your community, being able to self-advocate, and being able to be a productive member in your community. To me, that's success.
Oh, that's great. And
Yes.
I appreciate you responding to that. That's a great answer. Two things I want to cover. We've got a couple minutes left, and I want to make
Okay.
sure we cover. Fundraiser, the one coming up. We've got the save the date graphic. We're going to put it up. Hearts in Harmony. It's not happening until February of 2026, which is a little far off. But tell us briefly what that's going to be or what that is.
So Hearts in Harmony 2, we had our first one this past year in February, and it was phenomenal. It was at the Zach Room here in St. Louis. We raised more than $60,000, and from that we were able to benefit more than 12 organizations, and that would include Almost Home, Loyola Academy, and the Little Bit Foundation. We were also, so we're really excited about that. We're doing it again on February 28th. And so hopefully we'll get more information out to the community as soon as possible. Last year we had Guy Torrey as our host. And so we're looking for some more people to come out to help us out. So we're very, very excited. It's a fun night. It's a cocktail party. It's for the moms and the dads. So
and it's a fundraiser.
Yeah, and it's a fundraiser. Yeah. So it's a great, great time. We're so happy for the success of the one that we just had this year. It's the largest amount of money that we've ever raised in our chapter. So
really?
I'm very, very proud of that.
Congratulations.
Yes, thank you.
Yes. So last question, because you've been saying all the things that I think any parent wants to hear, right? And so how do people, I understand it's a member organization, so where do people go if they want to reach out to you, want to learn more about how they can get involved?
So to learn more about our specific chapter, you just go to the website. And I think you have that on your screen. Yes, you just go to the website and put in information and put in an email to go to information, and we can respond to you. For membership, membership belongs to the mother, and the children and the families just benefit. But the mothers, we do the work. We are the members. So the membership, to become a member, you have to be invited by someone that's in the chapter.
In the chapter. No, and I appreciate you clarifying that, because again, I think clearly, even when I show those archival clips, you know, Jack and Jill has been around forever, it seems, and doing so much work in the community. And I just sometimes think people don't necessarily know all that's involved, or how they might be involved, or just all that goes into it. And you've really put a light on that today. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Congratulations on all your success during your presidency term. It sounds like you've been very busy.
Yes, we've been very busy. But it's the nature of the beast.
Yes,
so we love it. We love it.
No, this is great. Well, keep up the good work, and thank you again for being here.
All righty.
All right, well, we're going to throw up the graphic for you one more time so you can learn more information. It's the St. Louis chapter of Jack and Jill of America. There's the address to reach out to. You can also email at info@jackandjillstl.org. And as Angela spoke about, you can just go to the website to learn more about the work that they're doing here in the St. Louis community and nationally. That's jackandjillstl.org. And then save the date, February 28th, 2026. It seems like it's far off, but not really.
It is
Time
not.
starts to fly as soon as summer's over. And again, you can find out more information at jackandjillstl.org. Thank you again for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you at home for watching, and keep it right here on STL TV. Experience St. Louis.